Good evening, good evening, good evening. Welcome sa Leandro and Mai, a spoken word podcast. And let's all welcome our hosts of the Leandro and Mai, a spoken word podcast, Leandro and Mai.
What's up?
Para talaga tayo magbo-boxing. Parang may boxing match. Good evening, everyone. We are Leandro and Mai, ang poetry podcast duo na 50% tula. 50% tawa. Nakakainis. Pero 100% kulot. Siguradong lahat ng tanong nyo tungkol sa hair care at sige, sa poetry na rin ay sure na masasagot.
That intro was written by Paolo Chausas. If you want to introduce us on the next episode, message us on Instagram or Twitter. This week, we will talk about the "Your poem saved me" line. What does it actually mean? Where did it come from? Where did we hear it? How did it start?
Kanino talaga nanggaling yun? Anong tula ang unang nakapagsalba? Charot! I'm sure sometime in your lives, no, hindi man papunta sa akda natin mismo. Or pwedeng kanta, your song saved me, your film saved me. Anyway, naririnig natin yung phrase na yan. Alam ko hindi natin first time narinig yan. Kaya siguro okay ring isipin natin ngayon kung bakit, ano, kailan, sino, magkano. Alam.
Yes. For sure, magiging interesting discussion na naman yan. And we are, again, excited to hear your thoughts and insights. Pero bago yan, kamustahin muna natin yung mga tao na nandito na. Thank you so much.
Tao! Hello, mga tao!
Ayan.
Si Simone nandito. Hello, Simone, Emmy. Anya, na nasa kabilang kanto lang. Hello, Anya. See you later.
Totoo, no?
Itong si Louie Fern Santos, kasama ko siya dun sa short film namin ng Poly East. Sabi niya, bilangin ko ilang beses mo hahawakan yung bangs mo. I would like to know at the end of this podcast kung ilang beses ko binilang yung ko. Binilang, hinawakan yung bangs ko. Dito din si Chap, si Madel. Hello, Madel! Ganda ko daw.
Yes. Salamat. Alam mo ba, may Candeliano, may mga nag-message pa sa atin nung Wednesday. Sobrang nakaka-touch naman kayong mga tao kayo. Salamat. Thank you so much for checking in on us. We appreciate it.
Sorry if may mga nag-worry. Okay naman kami. Hindi naman kami nag-away nila yan. Hindi naman. Baka may nag-iisip na nag-away tayo. Nag-conflict lang po sa schedule. May mga kinemero tayong kailangang gawin. Tapos may sakit din ng ulo na naganap. May namuong sakit ng ulo din na naganap sa ulo ko.
Oo. Ay, shoutout din pala sa mga committee members at organizers ng Wordelo. Wordelo 3.0. Tapos na yung submission ng ang daming magagandang tula. Oo.
No?
Intense.
What?
Oo. Ayan. Jerome made it.
Sa mga friends natin from the Pag-ing, maraming salamat pagsuporta. Paper Soul also from Pampanga and Creepy Mac syempre na mga kababayan. Wordelo Likhaan. Lagi page nila para mapanood yung mga entries. Tapos next week yung announcement of winners.
Oo, next week. October 10. Okay, we're just experiencing a few technical difficulties. Please stay online and we'll be back in 3 minutes.
energy.
Para sa mga ka-tune in pa lang, Leandro and Maya Spoken Word Podcast is a weekly live podcast powered by Upstream Media PH. We run every Wednesday at 8 p.m. and thank you na kahit na-postpone yung Wednesday episode natin this week. Pumunta pa rin kayo sa episode natin today. Even though it's a Saturday, it's a weekend, you can just be sleeping or eating. Thank you so much. In this podcast, we talk about poetry on the different topics on a weekly basis. We perform our spoken word poems and feature your poems. We feature a poetry book on a monthly basis and a lot more.
That's right, Leandro Reyes. At salamat sa lahat ng mga sumusuporta sa amin at naniniwala sa katotohanan at hiwagan ng aming kinabukasan. Ang gusto lang naman naming sabihin ay salamat sa mga nag-tip sa amin, sa mga patuloy na nag-tip sa amin, at sa mga gusto pang mag-tip. Details are still magically rolling above us, courtesy of our very, very benta director, Clint Lopez.
Yes. For those who are curious, we use the funds that you give us for production and for the guests that we bring on a monthly basis. Kaya kung meron kayong mga request sa mga guests na papasok natin next sa mga buwan na susunod.
Talaga. Parang
shoot na.
Sa dito sa
Yes, but another way to support us and support our channel is to share our channel with someone, a friend, a mother's friend, a mother. Yes.
complete stranger.
Yes, a stranger.
Kung nasa dating apps kayo.
And with that, our question of the day is, why or how does poetry save? We're always enjoying interacting with you. So, kwento niyan dito. Or pwede niya, may mga sumagot nitong question of the day sa Twitter nung Wednesday pa lang. Salamat sa mga nag-interact with us. Thank you so much. We love ya. Ikaw ba may Cantillan?
Bakit ako yung una mo?
Paunahan eh.
Sige. Sige. Tanong mo sa akin. Ibat mo sa akin. Kaya ko yan.
Okay. May Cantillano of Bataan. Why or how does poetry save?
Thank you for that wonderful question. Why or how does poetry save?
Yes.
Kasi pag di mo siya sinave, wala kang poetry. Big brain!
Ayan.
Hindi. Okay, yun na. Seryoso. Kidding aside. Why does poetry save? Because it reminds us that we're not alone. Somehow. Yun. Ikaw naman, Leandro Reyes. Why does or how does poetry save?
I feel like ang malaking difficulty kasi ng buhay ay misunderstanding and hindi lang misunderstanding, kakulangan ng understanding in general, diba? And I think poetry helps us a lot in that aspect. Even regardless kung tayo yung nagsusulat ng poetry, kung tayo yung bumabasa ng poetry, it helps aid our understanding. Yan. Sobrang alam mo ba, mabilis na kwento lang. Nung nakaraan, nagpa-critic ako ng isa sa mga bago akong tula sa isa nating mabuting kaibigan na minsan walang ilaw sa kwarto. Sabi niya, nagbigay siya ng point sa dulo kung saan sinabi niya, nakita ko yung message nitong poetry para sa akin and explain niya na ito yung naintindihan ko after reading this poem. And I think that's naabot, feeling ko kapag nangyari yon, nakasulat ako ng isang makabuluhang tula or naging successful ako sa pagsusulat ng tulang yan. I think so. Or baka ako lang.
Big brain ka talaga. Leon Reyes. Lagi na siya na-shoutout si Leon Austriano. Sana mapansin niya ako.
Ayan.
Ako lang. Anyway, ayan. Pwede kayong sumagot. Why does or how does
Why or
poetry
how
say?
does poetry say? Ayan,
Yan,
sumagot si
maraming
Anya
salamat.
Nagit, oh.
Sabi ni Anya
Bilis.
Nagit, it reminds us of things na hindi natin akalain na kailangan natin until we read or
Ay,
write it.
yan. Para sa mga makakalimutin.
Nakakainis. Uy, grabe naman si Matir. Na-touch ako doon. Late but never forgotten. I miss
Oy,
what
grabe. Thank you so much.
yan. Wait lang, di ako prepare. Ay, ang arte. Thank you. Ayan, bago ba tayo lumayo, masyado tayo nag-e-enjoy dun sa sa cheesy messages ng mga viewers. Tumako na muna tayo sa abang-abang na segment ng Leandro and Mai, ang Prompted!
Where we
Fun.
post poetry prompts on a weekly basis and feature some of those the following week. If you want to share us your poems, please send them to us via Twitter DM or tweet it and tag us at Leandro and Mai.
Alright! Truly, Bam. Ano nang nangyayari? Mali ako nang ginawa sa sa Facebook page ko. Anyway, ang prompt of the week natin last week ay write a poem with a mention of a pop fiction character's name. Excited ako kung sino yung mga binanggit nilang pop fiction character.
Yes.
Meron kayong gumawa kay Aling Vicky? Abangan natin yan. Salamat sa lahat ng sumasali sa segment na to. Lagi kaming masaya magbasa ng mga tula na pinapadala ninyo.
Yes.
Now, for the first prompt ngayong gabi, prompted
King.
poem ngayong gabi, ito ay babasahin ni Leandro Reyes.
Yes. Our first prompt king is Enzo. Yan, nandyan si Enzo ngayong gabi, di ba? Nakita, parang nabasa ko yung nag-comment siya kanina. Ayan, basahin natin yung tula niya. Salamat sa enerhiya nyo. Yes! Nakongolekta ka ba ng energy ball? Ayan, okay. Basahin natin. Si Enzo, ang kanyang Twitter handle ay makatawalwal. Yes. Okay. Ang pamagat ng pyesa niya ay remember. Ayan, nandyan siya. Salamat sa pag-submit. Ito babasahin namin ng iyong tula. Pamagat ng remember. Remember the day you were born? You objected when the doctor exclaimed, "It's a boy." Remember your 4th and 7th birthday? Spider-Man and the Power Rangers were your uninvited guests. Remember when you were 8? You carried beads on your hands and flipped a book that told you that it was wrong to be gay. Remember when you were 10? You finally had a girlfriend and someone finally understood when you said, "This guy looked cute." Remember when you were 12? Life began to show on your face as you claimed your identity, but the rules stripped you of it. Remember when you were 14? You finally had a bullet sent to you when you ordered your first lipstick. Remember when you were 18? You finally regained your life. You finally regained the life on your face, but strangers immediately invalidated it. Remember all these wounds that needed to be cleansed by the water from the side of your eyes. Remember the reasons why? It was because they boxed you into someone you're not. You cried because you were labeled wrong the first time you came. You cried because you were thought that you were a sinner. You cried because you thought no one would understand. Because you were you. You cried because you did not understand why they labeled you this. But you are not it. You did not understand why they gave you this brand new label and it did not match. Because you asked Miriam what gay meant and she said it meant happy. They labeled you happy. And they are the reason of your sadness inside. They labeled you happy, but they are the ones who deprived you of being such. Just because it's different doesn't mean you can't. Yeah. Yeah. Enzo.
Level up talaga si Enzo. I cannot.
Oh. Alam niyo may graphics pa nga yung tula niya eh.
Ano natin, pwede naman natin, kung bibigyan tayo ng consent na Enzo, pwede naman nating i-tweet sa Twitter. Pwede naman nating
I-post sa Twitter.
Yeah,
Just let us know.
Yes, please let
Yan.
us.
Okay. Ang susunod nating prompted poem this week ay babasahin ni Mai Cantillano.
This is from Sid Makapagal. Hello Sid, maraming salamat sa pagsusulat. Sabi niya kanina, keep them coming. So, feeling ko nag-enjoy siya sa mga prompts natin. No? The title of this poem is Ode to Uchiha Itachi. Para sa lahat ng mga Naruto fans. Hello sa inyo. Ode to Uchiha Itachi. Enough with the utilitarian bullshit. How does kindness meet massacre with your eyes and call it in the highest of courts justified? Of course, the deed wasn't enough. When home was taken away and love had to be the driving force of genocide. How far can your love go? How far can you take it? When you have nothing but your crows. I cannot think of any other way to say that it was all worth it. And your eyes tearing up with the blood because it could not keep up with the pumping and screaming of the rest of your body parts, the weight you carry with your thoughtful and selfish hand. You didn't have to do it, but no one else could. How could you not be selfish? Be selfish and live a happy life with wife and kids and live your day, but kindness, love, and bondage got in the way. Grabe yun! Grabe yun, men.
Intense, no?
Kumusta, Leandro? Kumusta ka naman? Para, at saka yung mga fans ni ano dyan, ni Itachi. Wait lang, hindi ko kinary. Diyos ko, para sa mga fans ng mga ano dyan, mga Naruto fans dyan. Sana nagustuhan niyo yun. At thank you so much, Sid, sa sa pag-submit, no? Maraming salamat sa inyong lahat. At sa mga lahat din ang nag-submit na hindi namin nabasa ngayon. Medyo marami sila. Yan.
Yes.
Susunod naman natin. Bago pa tayo ulit lumayo, lumako na tayo sa ating susunod na segment, ang Safe Space. Walang sayaw eh.
Wala. Sorry.
Safe Space is dedicated to all the safe spaces that kept us through the years. Here, we continue to share our poems to you.
You can comment down your thoughts sa mga pyesa na ipaperform namin ngayong gabi. Siyempre, sobrang nag-enjoy kaming i-discuss yung insights nyo along with our insights as well. So ngayon, diretso na tayo sa una nating safe space performance. Let's all welcome ang future owner ng Mai Cantillano Hairdressers, Mai Cantillano.
Ayan. Game. Kakanta talaga ako. So, again, I'm my and my piece, this is the second piece. Pangalawang piece pa lang na ginawa ko, and ginawa ko to especially para sa event na to. This is entitled Sa Pagitan Ka Natagpuan, and I hope you like it, guys. Sa Pagitan Ka Natagpuan. Game. Parati kong naririnig ang dalawa sa mga uri ng pag-ibig. Ang tamang pag-ibig, ngunit maling panahon, at tamang panahon, ngunit maling pag-ibig. Hindi ko alam kung alin tayo dun sa dalawa. Kung tama pa bang may tayo, o kung mali na. Nasaan ka na ba? Hindi na ba talaga tayo magkakatagpo? Dahil kung ito'y tagu-taguan, hindi ko alam kung sino sa atin ang taya at kung sino sa atin ang nawawala. Napakaliwanag ng buwan, ngunit hanggang ngayon, hindi pa rin tayo magkakitaan. Hindi ko alam kung sino sa atin ang nagtatago, dahil matagal nang tapos ang isa hanggang 10. At matagal na rin ako lumabas mula sa aking pinagtataguan. At ngayon, patuloy na naglalakad sa kawalan na dati ay kalawakan. Kalawakan na sabay nating pinagmamasdan sa ilalim ng nagniningning na mga bituin, kasama ang mga alitaptap na sumusulyap sa pag-ibig natin. Ngunit, sino nga bang nagtatago at sinong naghahanap? Lumalalim na ang gabi, ngunit hanggang ngayon, wala ka pa rin sa aking tabi. Kaya't sabi ko, hindi na ako pwedeng maglaro. Hahanapin kita, kaya't ako'y tumayo. Wala akong pakialam kung ako may madapa o kung ako may mataya. Sinantabi ko ang takot ko sa dilim at sa kung anong nasa likod ng dilim. Mahanap ka lang. Makita ka lang. Dahil kailangan kitang bawiin sa tadhana. Hindi ko alam kung paano. Bahala na. Basta hahanapin kita. Kahit nasaan ka pa. Hahanapin kita. Hahanapin kita. At nakita na nga kita. Nakita na kita. Natagpuan kita sa pagitan ng gabi at umaga. Hindi alam kung magpapatuloy pa. Kung nanakawin pa ba ang mga tala para sa akin dahil ang sabi mo, kahinaan ko mga bituin. Natagpuan kita sa pagitan ng laban at paalam. Nakikipagdigma sa tadhana dahil ang sabi mo yun ang tama. Natagpuan kita sa pagitan ng ngayon at bukas. Masaya, ngunit lumuluha. At hindi ko alam kung anong paniniwalaan ko, kung ang ngiti mo ba o ang luha mo. Natagpuan kita sa pagitan ng mahal kita at ng minahal kita. Ngunit nagdurugo ka na. Patawad. Patawad. Dahil kung minsan, Mas nauuna pa ang bibig kong pumutak kaysa mag-isip ang kulubot kong utak. Patawad, dahil kung minsan mas nauuna pa ang pagmulat ng aking mata kaysa sa pagtibok ng puso kong hinahapon na. Patawad, dahil kung minsan binabaliwala ko ang tenga mo hindi napapagod sa pakikinig sa bawat pantig na niluluwa ng aking bibig. Kahit kadalasan wala naman talagang kwenta ang mga binibitawan kong salita. Patawad, kung isa ako sa naging dahilan ng pagsikip ng iyong mundo, kung ang dating payak ay naging komplikado. Patawad, kung isa ako sa naging dahilan at kung isa ako sa nagbaon ng takot dyan sa loob mo na unti-unting lumaki at ngayon ay iyon ang inaani. Patawad kung mas pinili kong magtago para lang hanapin mo kahit na alam ko na ang mas dapat mong hanapin ay ang sarili mo. Naging makasarili ako. Kaya't heto, nagkasalisi tayo. Sabay tayong naghanap, ngunit sabay rin tayong nagtago. Nakakapagod pala ang laro. Buong akala ko kasing simple lang ito ng pagbilang mula 1 hanggang 10, ngunit hindi. Hindi pala. Kaya't patawad. Dahil hindi na kita kayang makitang nagdurugo pa sa pagitan ng gabi at umaga, ng laban at paalam, ng ngayon at bukas. At nang mahal kita at minahal kita, hindi na kita kayang makitang nasasaktan pa. Kaya't mahal, malaya ka na. Thank you po.
At ayun po, nakita po natin may wait pa. Nakita po natin may taon. may taon na nakalagay dun sa Keme. 2016 ba yun? Oh my God! Pag-usapan natin yan mamaya. May mga nag-PM sa akin. Nag-PM sa akin. Sorry. Walang trigger warning. Sorry. Anyway. So, pag-usapan natin yan later. Pwede nyo ring i-comment lang ng i-comment. Sige lang. Kung ano yung mga na-feel nyo. Kung ano yung mga pagkukulang ko. Pagkukulang ko sa inyo bukod sa trigger warning. Ayan! Para naman sa susunod na Safe Space Performance, let us all welcome to the virtual stage ang muntik ng mabudol kanina ng kapitbahay niya para magpagbulay ng buhok, Leandro Reyes.
Yes. True story. Bumibili lang ako ng itlog kanina, tapos yung tindahan dun sa amin, apparently salon na sila ngayon, tapos sabi ng tindera, alam mo sir, parang mas okay kung lalagyan natin ng konting highlight yung hairs. At effective yung sales talk. Muntik na akong bumalik ng may kulay yung buhok. Bumili lang ako ng itlog. Ayan. Almost. Okay. Since safe space naman ito, this poem is not quite finished yet, I guess. Or siguro pwede ko pa improve. I don't know yet. But I remember kasi 'di ba, yung mga panahon na pumupunta ka sa poetry shows para mag-perform ng piyesang hindi ka pa confident kasi safe space naman 'yan. You test out your poems there. Okay. So let's try that here. The title of this poem is Peaks and Picoseconds. Every 12 midnight, my wristwatch beeps. I don't remember setting it that way, but I never got into removing it, which means I don't know how to. I have grown so accustomed to it. It's a nice way of saying the day has ended, which is to say, you've made it. To say, start over. Are you sleepy now? I've had conversations with myself, with this time-telling thing of a friend watching. All periods of my sentences, how it goes along with my hand when I scratch my tired eye. It reminds me that we have 1,200 golden seconds of twilight twice a day. This is when the birds stop singing and the poets start to pretend to know what they're doing. A moment, according to scholars, lasts for 90 seconds. Questions and observations and statements and wasting and leaning into the next minute reach a point of the day of the daily beeping. Then everything continues but changes in frame. According to scholars, we have been given 960 moments to make one or two worth bringing into memory. What have I learned today? Is the water getting cleaner? Is the grass on the oh so glorious other side getting greener? I don't hope to get there anymore. I just hope that there is greener grass still out there. When my wristwatch beeps, I click the button that stops the panic right away. With that, I feel the weight of another day signaled by my hands, which is to say, you must carry on again. But first, sleep. Try your best to dream of flowers dancing in soil instead of decorated porcelain. The truth is, I don't even know what greener grass actually looks like. It must be water by the sweat from the stars trying to keep us wishing. I can only assume. I wake each morning knowing that the brightness of the sun can never stop the stars from existing, which is to say that my wristwatch will beep again tonight, with or without my notice. Thank you so much.
Siya talaga, Leandro Reyes. Kung pakunin ng buhok, mamimili lang ng itlog. Oh my God.
Ayan. Pinabasa ko na to sa iyo, may Candeliano, di ba?
Oo. Natatandaan ko. Ito yung sinasabi ko na ano yung um, hindi titigil ang mundo for you.
Yes. And that's a good thing, right?
That's
The moment you realize that it's a good thing, it changes a lot of things in your perspective. At least for me. Ayan. Sige nga. Ayun, nagko-compute si Jerome. Sabi niya, 2 out of 960 lang. Well, naalala mo pa ba kung ano nangyari sa'yo nung nung Wednesday? Hindi mo nga namamalayang dumaan yung Wednesday. So minsan actually, 'di ba, dumadaan yung 960 moments nang wala man lang tayong na-save na isa or dalawa. Worth remembering.
nakakapag-save ng moment.
Well, di ko sure.
Ay, nako. Pero, sige. Pag-usapan natin how it saved us or it saved other people. The poetry that we performed earlier.
Oo.
Pero ako 16 pa. 16 that I performed last
Throwback Thursday, throwback Saturday.
tayo.
Oo,
Ano
12
ba
years old pa lang si Maymay doon. Napakatagal na nun.
12 years old. Kupitos pa. Anyway, may mga violent reactions dito. Grabe yung lungs ni Maymay. I got that in my playlist for 3 years or so, I guess. Grabe yung 3 years, Tagal pa.
Sino yun? Sino nagsabing nasa playlist niya for 3 years?
Si Emily.
Si M.E. Ayan.
Yeah. Tapos sabi din nila, Sabi ni Glenn Charles Lopez, walang trigger warning. Yeah. Sabi ni Madel, parating goosebumps every time I watch that video. May nabasa ako kanina, I think it's ME. Literal that it saved her. I I don't know. Tama ba? Or
Wow.
guni-guni. Ayun, sabi ni Boy, that piece literally saved me. Oh, di ba? Sabi ko sa'yo eh.
Okay.
Ayan.
Nice one. Okay.
Ako, sa kung bakit yun yung pinili kong pyesa for safe space.
Okay,
Bukod
sige, go.
kasi bukod kasi sa, I think, yun yung doon ako, um, yun yung isa sa mga dahilan kung bakit ako pinipm ng mga tao. Dahil sa pagitan ka natagpuan. And feeling ko nga, ano na yun, nakakabit na yun sa pangalan ko, yung mga tao nga dito sa amin sa Creepy Mac, minsan ang tawag nila ang nickname nila sa akin sa GC namin is the girl in between. Nakakainis. So I think, I wasn't so proud of it kasi sobrang bata ko pa dyan and all. Pero, hindi ko ini-invalidate yung sinulat ko na yun. Ano pa rin, ang laki pa rin ng pasalamat ko na sinulat ko siya. First, because kanina nung nasa nag-talk ako sa high school, sa senior high students kaninang umaga about spoken word. Tinatanong nila, paano ko daw ba nasulat yung sa pagitan? Feeling ko kasi nag-expect sila ng something na nahugot or ano yung pinaghugutan ko nito and all. Yung sagot ko kasi is dahil sa deadline. Kailangan ko na kasi siyang ipasa para makapag-perform ako that time. Pero, totoo yun na isa sa mga naging factor is yung deadline. Pero, I think ito kasi yung nag-start talaga ng yung how it saved me. It saved me in the sense na meron akong nagawa. Ang hirap explain, may na-produce ako for myself. Na proud ako na that time sobrang proud ako kasi alam mo yun, hindi biro magsulat. At hindi rin naman lahat ng sinusulat mo ina-appreciate ng tao. And then, ito din yung isa sa mga tula na nilalapitan ako ng mga tao. Hindi lang hindi, hindi ako nagbabrag or what. Pero hindi lang si ME yung nagsabi sa akin ng that piece saved me. At hanggang ngayon, hindi ko pa rin alam kung ano yung dapat kong i-react with that. Mayroong lumapit sa akin before, naiiyak ako. Charot. May lumapit sa akin before, sabi niya, parang every birthday niya, natataon na meron akong gig, tapos pumupunta siya doon. Tapos, sinasabi niya sa akin na, alam mo, nung nagmo-move on ako, hindi kita, kasama kita dun sa phase na yon, kasama kita dun sa moment na yon, kahit na hindi mo alam, through listening to this and to my other phone. So, I think, katulad nung sinabi ko kanina, kaya siya may saving element, saving factor. It's because nakaka-relate. Mayroong tao na nakaka-relate and it's a way of parang saying na you're not alone. Hindi ka mag-isa. Hindi ka mag-isa dito sa pinagdadaanan mo na to. Nandito ako.
Yes. Ang galing na, no?
Oo.
Kasi hindi naman natin ini-intend na nagets ko yung sinasabi mo eh. May nagsabi rin sa akin noon na ng ganun. Tapos hindi ko rin alam kung nung una kong narinig, hindi ko alam kung magpapasalamat ba ako or mahihiya ako or hindi ko alam kung paano ko tatanggapin yung compliment na your poem saved me. Kasi feeling ko naman feeling ko naman as a person, kaya ko nang makahandle tumanggap ng compliment. And hindi naman yun madali, 'di ba? Pero yung particular compliment na yun na your poem saved me, it's very hard to react upon. Kaya ako nagagalingan kasi parang hindi naman natin yun sinasadya eh. Hindi naman natin susulat na, okay, magliligtas ako ng mga tao. Ako si super poet. Hindi, hindi naman natin yun ginagawa, di ba? So,
Ako ay super poet.
hindi naman yun yung purpose ng tula natin. Gusto lang natin magsulat. And in that moment, yun yung katotohanan na gusto natin i-translate into accuracy. And ang amazing ng mga ganong moments na of sincerity na nanggagaling sa ibang tao, no? And I'm sure, nangyari na rin to sa atin. Alam mo, recently, sige, ikaw muna. May tanong ako for you. Has a piece of poem, as a poetry piece, or has a poem ever saved you in any way or form? May Cantillana.
Yes. Low-key kasi talaga. Low-key na nagpapasalamat ako, no. Alam naman ng lahat ng friends ko to. Lagi ako nasa verge ng nasa verge ng pag-quit of what I'm doing. Alam mo yan, Leandro Ray. Alam mo siguro ah may mga tula talaga na nag-save sa akin from quitting. Yun, sa sense na yun, dun ako na-save. And ito yung mga tula ng mga kaibigan ko na sinesend nila sa akin. Kasi parang alam ko na hindi tungkol sa akin. Hindi tungkol sa akin yung tula. Or gusto lang talaga nung tao na magpabasa ng tula. Pero kasi it always reminds me that it always reminds me how powerful poetry is eh. And bilang isa sa nagka-create nito, parang ang hirap tumigil. Yun yung nare-remind sa akin whenever my friends are sending me their poetry, their poem. And ayun, when it comes naman sa ayun, sige, yun muna sa akin. Ikaw naman, Leandra, tanungin kita. Has poetry ever saved you?
Ako, oo. So many times. May panahon na lahat ng tula ni Alex Liu pinapanood ko. Lately, not so long ago, parang nabibirdohan ako sa pagsusulat ko. And I felt like I needed to rearrange my artistry. If that makes sense. So inaral ko na magkasabay si Billy Collins, si Moki Katigbak at si Paolo Manalo, saka si Paolo Chausas. So, sobrang dami kong naintindihan. Pero above it all, na-validate ako na hindi kailangan maging malinis ng tula kahit kailan. Or hindi kailangan maging malinis ng isang koleksyon ng tula kahit kailan.
Hindi yun yung aim.
Oo, 'di ba? Napaka ewan ko. Hindi ko alam kung pero it's very amazing. It's very amazing to have felt that recently. So yan. Amazing. I'm thoroughly amazed. Sabi ni Anya Nagit, poems speak our truths. That's very true. And I don't think it just speaks our truth. It speaks out our accurate truths.
Yeah.
Oo, 'di ba? Parang madali namang sabihing nasaktan ka ngayon. Pero hindi yun yung accurate truth mo. Pero kapag inexplain mo through or sinulat mo through poetry, or kinonvey mo yung message na nasasaktan ka ngayon through poetry, sobrang dami mong maiintindihan kung gaano talaga kasakit or kung gaano talaga kasaya.
Kung ano yung no, specifics nung sakit.
Oo, kung anong specs ng sakit.
Nakakainis. Oo. Pero sa ano yun, totoo yun. At saka ito, sa totoo lang, hindi din sa pagbubuhat ng bangko. Hindi kasi talaga ako expert pagdating sa relationship or sa love something, ganyan. Kaya siguro ako single ngayon. um, yung, yung pagsusulat natin, yung purpose natin ng pagsusulat ng Bungad series, lagi talaga ako nung nire-remind that na parang lagi ako nare-remind dun sa kapangyarihan ng pag-ibig. That, ayun, hindi man ngayon or anytime, anywhere. Feeling ko ganun din kasi yung ginusto kong maging message ng kapag nakita mo na siya. Na, ulitin ko, sinabi ko na to sa dating episode before, na parte ng pagmamahal ng sarili, ang pagtanggap ng pagmamahal mula sa iba. Na hindi natin kailangan gawin lahat mag-isa.
Galing nun ah. Amazing. Tsaka kasi kapag di mo tinanggap, pinagkait mo yung pagbibigay.
Yes! Oh my God! Ganda nun. Sulat natin.
Oo, pwede. Sulat tayo dito, live.
Hindi tayo magpaplano kapag naka-live tayo eh.
Ayan, oo. Napakaganda na binanggit mo yung Bungad series, no? Kasi, I feel like in some way, I felt saved there as well. Yung belief na kasi bago natin masulat yung Bungad series, hindi naman ako maayos magsulat ng love poetry eh. Hindi ko naman sinasabing maayos na ako magsulat ng love poetry ngayon, pero mas maayos kesa sa dating dati. And before that, and I think yung Bungad series, yung kwento niya, ang daming in between eh. Ang daming nangyayari in between Bungad and Alingawngaw. Ang daming nangyayari between Alingawngaw and Dagitab. And it just brings you so much hope na okay, di pa pwede matapos sa pagsusulat kasi dudugtungan ko pa yung after ng Dagitab. May kwento pa yun eh. Meron pang something after it.
Yes. Ayun. At saka linawin lang natin the aim of poetry is never to save the world. Pero sinesave niya kasi tayo into different way. In different way. So, hindi naman natin na isa ba ang mundo. Sabi mo nga kanina, hindi naman tayo super poet. Ayan. So, in conclusion, lahat tayo nasa labanan ng para namang masyado ko namang vinalidate. Masyado ko namang kinlame. Feeling ko kasi lahat naman tayo in some way sinalban na talaga ng tula. Or kahit hindi ng tula specifically, ng any form of art. Music man yan, pelikula man yan. I think may pagsalba na nangyayari sa sining.
Yeah.
Ay, ito may
Thank
sinabi
you.
pa Ron, hindi ko nabasa. Bringing,
Sige.
ano yung SPKN as an example? Poetry saves kasi somehow and ironically, it makes what drowns us understandable and by extension, acceptable. Yes! It makes what drowns us understandable. Naiintindihan.
Yes. Oo. Ano yung sabihin ng SPKN?
Oo, anong ibig sabihin ng sapakin kita?
Spoken. Ayan.
Ikaw ba?
Okay.
Leandro Reyes.
Ano na?
Baka may dadagdag ka pa bago tayo dumako sa ating susunod na segment.
Actually, ang ganda na ng conclusion mo and I agree with it. I agree that we don't need to save the world. I feel like lagi ko yung sinasabi. Lagi ko yung sinasabi, poetry doesn't need to save the world. If your poem is not for anyone else but yourself, that's okay. If your poem is not fighting for anything, that's okay. That's valid in its own right. Sometimes even more valid. Yan. Okay.
Yeah.
Moving on to our next segment, ang Book of the Month. Book of the Month. Book of the Month. Book of the Month.
Tatakot ko ngayon. September's Book of the Month is Happily Ever Ek Ek by Paolo Manalo. Ayan, no, kahit na October na ngayon, since yung episode natin ngayon is technically nung last Wednesday pa, nag-time travel lang tayo. Bilang tayo magikera. Ginagawa, para tayong si Makoto Shinkai, pinaglalaroan talaga natin yung time and space. Dati ginawa nating, Valentine's yung August eh.
Yan. Oo.
Yan, tapos ngayon ginawa nating Wednesday yung Saturday talaga naman.
Talaga naman talaga. Okay. Paolo Manalo's other poetry collection is Geography Retcon. He teaches creative writing at the University of the Philippines. Happily Ever Ek Ek is available at Roel's Bookshop in Quezon City, Solidaridad in Manila, Mount Cloud in Baguio, and Savage Mind in Naga.
Savage Mind. Ayoko nang. Para sa last keme natin. Last ek-ek natin, ang babasahin ng ek-ek sa Book of the Month natin ay Markademonyo. Grabe. Markademonyo. Mula sa Happily Ever Ek-ek ni Sir Paolo Manalo. We turned the dead man on his side and found tattooed in intricate detail the lives of saints gone wild with the cutest little devil. We couldn't help but pinch. Ouch, it said. My wife and I flinched. Well, it's about time someone got me out of here. We didn't dare say another word. It's me, your only son. But we never had, can't have children. I'm from the future, sent to save you both. But we lived for a moment and didn't need saviors. Wait, I'm your missing uncle with answers to your past. But we have therapy for that. Then I'm Genie with 4 wishes instead of 3. But we need just one, we said, tickling its silly. It got mad. But oh, how the dead man laughed. Diba, guys, kung wala pa kayo ng Happily Ever Ek-Ek, promise may enjoy nyong basahin to. Every time. Pinipigilan ko talaga ng tumawa every time na babasahin ko to. Kasi gusto kong bigyan ng ng magandang pagbasa ang Happily Ever Ek-Ek. Anyways, thank you always, Sir Pao. It is our last episode featuring Happily Ever Ek-Ek. But since, syempre, October na ngayon, bibigyan namin kayo ng preview sa Book of the Month ngayong October. Leandro Reyes, do the honors!
So, pakita lang namin ng mabilis.
Yeah. Nice,
Yan.
nice.
End of
Okay, good.
preview.
Perfect. Ayan. If you have, abangan nyo yan next week, yung Book of the Month namin. Kasi excited na rin ako magbasa since ako laging nagbabasa sa Book of the Month. If you have requests for the featured book, please reach out to us via Twitter or Instagram.
Yes. Thank you, everyone. Sobrang bilis ng oras and we have again reached the end of this week's episode. Pero bago tayo tuloy magpaalam para sa mga naghihintay, yes, medyo intense yung prompt natin next week. Ang prompt natin next week ay, write a haiku that can be used as an email sign-off. Yes. So yung
Wala.
inipon yung brain cells,
Wala
magagamit nyo na.
yung nanggaling yun. Wala siya dito, hindi niya siya nakikita dito, pero nandito siya.
Yes.
Feeling ko si Glenn Charles Lopez to. Anyway, a haiku is a specific type, para sa mga hindi nakakaalam, pero feeling naman alam natin lahat, pinag-aralan natin to. At saka nagagawa tayo ng haiku nung mag-aaral tayo. A haiku is a specific type of Japanese poem which has 17 syllables divided into 3 lines of 5, 7, and 5 syllables. Next week yan, no? Kinakabahan ako, baka walang magpasa. Magpasa naman kayo. Kung hindi, babrasuhin namin yung mga si Glenn. Write a haiku that can be used as an email sign-off. Next week yan. At speaking of next week, para hindi nyo ma-miss yung mga entry sa haiku, pwede naming basahin lahat actually ng ibibigay nyo kasi konti lang naman yan. Subscribe na kayo and share nyo na rin sa mga kapitbahay nyo, sa mga na-meet nyo sa Bumble, sa Tinder. Share nyo na yan kahit sa strangers, kahit sa... Pwede din kayo magawa ng flyers tapos mamigay kayo sa daan. Susan.
Yes. Thank you so much with that.
Ng comments pala, Leandro. Bago tayo...
Sige.
Hi ko po yung anime, di ba? Haikyuu yun! Wizat! Oo, na may bagong season ngayon. Pinapanood ng kapatid ko kanina eh. Yan, maraming salamat sa mga sumama sa amin ngayong gabi. Si Paolo Charles, kahit may tawag siya, humabol pa rin siya. Si Jerome Baladay na nag-PPM pa sa akin during the live. Sorry na.
Thank you so much. Thank you. We would also like to thank Collaboratory PH, Creepy Mac, Spoken Word PH, The Loudmouth Collective, ang sabi nila, Third Thursdays, Hoyo Home, and Glint Clothing. Suot ko pala yung Glint Clothing. Wait. Flex natin yung Glint Clothing natin.
Nice! Ay, ang ganda! Ang
Diba?
ganda!
Ano to eh? Yung Game Boy na may...
Wait na may glitch.
Amazing.
Ang Game Boy na nag-vibrate. Anyway, maraming salamat yung clothing, no? And also, thank you to our food sponsors, The Pop and Tea Express. And super special thanks to Upstream Media PH for being our live stream partner for Leandro and Mai Spoken Word Podcast. For those who want to learn about the art of live streaming, catch our podcast director Glenn Charles Lopez on Upstream Media Facebook page as he shares his tips and tricks and magics and everything.
Yes! Follow nyo rin pala kami sa Kumu.
Yes!
Doon na kami catch up. Oo, diba? Doon natin dati ginagawa natin Instagram live, ginagawa na natin ngayon sa Kumu. So follow nyo kami. We are Leandro Reyes and Mai Cantillano on Kumu. Yes, it was so nice hanging out with you again tonight. This has been Leandro and Mai of Leandro and Mai, a spoken word podcast.
See you again next week. Balik tayo sa dati nating schedule. Same time, 8 p.m. Wednesdays. Same channel. Bye. Thank you for hanging out with us. Bye.
Bye.
Ako po yung may kasalanan ng prompted for next week. Maraming salamat ulit sa panonood ng Leandro and Mai, a spoken word podcast. Don't forget to like and share this video if you liked it, if you really, really liked it. And don't forget to subscribe. Catch us again next week for the Leandro and Mai, a spoken word podcast. See ya, guys!